Good morning, everybody. I'm going to welcome you to this work session, which is for executive appointment confirmation hearing. Jamie Heinz, Municipal Clerk. Today is the 23rd of June, 2023, and we'll go ahead and do. We gotta mark that bad mic and send it through the shredder. So, again, I'll start over. Welcome, everybody, to this work session of the Anchorage Assembly for the executive appointment confirmation hearing. Jamie Heinz, Municipal Clerk. It's June 23rd, 2023, and 9:31 a.m. Let's go ahead and do introductions.
George Martinez.
Anna Brawley.
Karen Bronga.
Felix Rivera.
Scott Myers.
Meg Zalata.
Christopher Constant.
Jamie Heinz.
We also have Barbara Jones and several people from the clerk's office in the back. Okay, so it's tradition in our confirmation work sessions that somebody does an introduction of the clerk, and I probably should have thought about that before we got started. And so I will just start by saying that we've had the benefit of working with Ms. Heinz for the last several years, whether it be as a deputy clerk or the director of our elections, or now the acting clerk, and her service has been impeccable to the municipality. And she's taken on and came to the municipality during some of the most challenging times in some of the most challenging places. And so with that said, Ms. Heinz, and I don't know, yeah, were you in the room for the introduction?
No.
Mr. Cross has joined us then. I would just hand the mic over to you, allow you to introduce yourself to the record and to the folks here and begin a conversation.
Sure. So Jamie Heinz, I've been the Deputy Clerk of Elections, Election Administrator, and have been acting Municipal Clerk for the past couple of days. And I have served as a Deputy Clerk for the Heinz Borough. I was a business licensing official for the municipality back in 2014, 2015. And I was a Deputy Clerk for the City of Kenai, and then the City Clerk for the City of Kenai before moving back to Anchorage again, and where I started as the Deputy Clerk, Deputy Clerk of Elections. And then I have also served on the Executive Board of the Alaska Association of Municipal Clerks. I was first Vice President in 2018, second Vice President, first Vice President, President in 21, and then immediate past President in 22. And then if you heard Christopher speaking about it, the immediate past President has resigned. And so the AAMC is looking for another immediate past President. And so I declared my candidacy for that to finish through December. And then, so the Executive Board still needs to make the decision on that. And I'm happy to start the conversation.
All right, the conversation has started. Does anyone wish to ask any questions of Ms. Heinz? Ms. Brawley.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. I guess the question, because I know you've been working in the clerk's office for a while, you oversaw elections. I'm just curious, as you're contemplating, stepping into this role, are there other kind of big initiatives or whether it's changes or like areas of improvement that you would like to take on, or, other beyond serving, and doing all the work that we need to do? But just curious what's kind of on your mind in terms of, reforms or improvements, things like that.
Sure. Actually, Barbara has done a really great job of getting all of the houses for the clerk's office in order with Title I, Title 28, and all of those. And so there isn't anything big on my mind. The one thing that I do want to double check is see what we need to maybe do for the records retention schedule. Since the administration's is advisory to the assembly departments, what we need to do to ensure that we are on solid footing.
I would note that Mr. Johnson has also joined us in the room now. Anyone else? Questions? Ms. Zalto?
Thank you. Thank you for being here, Ms. Heinz. Could you tell us a little bit about why you would like this position?
Sure. I was in the finance world prior to the clerk world in Heinz and prior positions. And the borough clerk in Heinz asked me to assist her. She had lost her administrative assistant, and she was in her presidency, and it was elections time. And so I helped her out when I could from the finance office. And I quickly learned that the clerk profession, which anybody who asks what a clerk, nobody never knows what a clerk does there. They do a lot, but nobody ever knows what the clerk does. But I quickly learned that the clerk's office is the liaison between the public and their elected officials. So we do the work of publicly noticing the meetings and running elections so that the public can access their elected officials, or so that they can elect their elected officials, the people governing them. And I really enjoy that work. I really enjoy being able to help be that conduit. And there was something else I was going to say, but I forgot it.
So I have a question. Everything is becoming political of late, but the clerk's role is inherently apolitical. How do you approach that? What does that mean for the job? And how do we communicate that to the public so we ensure as much as possible the perception is the office is not political and the practice for sure is non-political?
It's very important that my social media is kept very not political. It is, so that's what I can do. I can ensure that I don't attend functions and that type of thing that make it appear that I'm political. And also, it's the clerk work does, the work of the clerk does reach out to both sides. Anybody who needs assistance can come to us, and we provide the same level of service, same type of service to anybody who comes to visit the clerk's office, and standing up for the rights of anyone.
I think that's fine. I would argue there aren't both sides. There are many, many sides.
Many sides.
The world likes to boil itself down to two for simplicity's sake, but I think this body proves to a lot of people that there's way more than two sides. There's probably 12 sides to this doc, this, whatever it is. Other questions? Ms. Brawley.
Yeah, I guess also thinking about your role as overseeing, not just the activities of the clerk, but the staff. Are there areas, and also thinking, the assembly over the last few years has really made investments in staff and legislative services and making sure that, this branch is well supported. So do you see either short-term or longer-term things where we could be supporting staff better, or maybe gaps, or just any kind of thing around, your role is overseeing that body of individuals?
I think that the Assembly has done a really great job of supporting the staff so far. We have a flexible work schedule. There are times that our staff is able to work from home, which is, I think, a great draw for staff. Currently, we have, I think Barbara has called it a very deep bench, where we've been able to draw from the own staff to promote to higher positions. And so we do still have vacancies to fill in. And so I think that will be a little bit of a difficult thing for the next couple of months while we get back to full staff. But I think that the Assembly has done a great job of already providing great wages and flexibility and policies as far as working to be able to help draw some new people and retain what we already have.
Yeah, there's definitely a culture in the department that's great, where there has been some efforts to headhunt with great pay increases, and members of the clerk staff have stayed despite increases of opportunity. Mr. Cross.
Well, Ms. Brawley asked my question because mine was more of a supportive in that what can we do as an assembly to not to unintentionally complicate the role of the clerk. I'm tremendously impressed with the workload Barbara has done and that you're willing to take on. And I've been just really impressed with the staff and the support that our assembly has. And so I'm sure I speak for everybody when I say if there's anything that we're doing that's unintentionally complicating things, please let us know so that we can course correct quickly, because you are valued tremendously, all of you. And so thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, I think my bandwidth is going to be used in a different way than Barbara's has been as of late. Will be training a new staff, and so, or training staff in newer roles. And so I think I'm thinking about hiring a temporary person in the clerk's office to help with some scheduling and receptionist type, front counter type duties to help us in that. So support for that would be great. And as I know that we're taking on a couple new boards and commissions here in the next couple of months or year. And so as I navigate how to assign some of those to staff members, I would appreciate open to conversations about how we can best support the assembly in those.
Ms. Branca.
I was just wondering, since you've been working for the Muni, what's your biggest challenge? What has been like the difficult hurdle that you got through, and how you think you worked your way through that challenge?
Being in elections, I think one of the biggest hurdles is the misinformation surrounding elections. And I don't know that we've overcome that hurdle, but I don't think that that's specific to Anchorage. I think it's specific to, it's nationwide. And so having Barbara and the legal team support certainly makes it a lot easier. And the support of the assembly in listening and understanding what we go through in elections related to the misinformation stuff is super helpful.
So I note that Mr. Salt has joined us on the phone. Ms. Zalato.
Thank you. So Barbara always comes with 3 things to tell us at meetings. So I'm hoping that you can, I like that 3. I'm ready for 3 things.
3 things.
3 things. Sometimes it's always 3 things. 3 things to inform us about. So
Okay.
If that tradition could stay, I really like that,
Sure.
because it seems like it's just the number to handle coming from the clerk. And sometimes one of those 3 things are instructions to us on how we could improve. So anyway, I just wanted to.
Got it.
Got
I
it.
will take note. 3 things.
Anyone else? So I'll join again. We have substantially grown the branch in certain ways over the last couple of years. In particular, we have the clerk's office with all of its functions, some dressed up in the charter and some in the code that we have to follow. Then we have the office of the ombudsman, who also has very specific roles. And then we have now legislative services, and we have our legal services department. How do you imagine being the glue between all of those things?
Being a part of the team. Whatever the other offices need assistance with, we would be happy to assist with. Being a part of the strategic planning, being a part of the conversation to come up with plans to support the assembly. Does that answer your question?
I think that it's going to be really important to really study the code section on the role of the clerk and own it.
Mhm.
Because the functions of that office are very specific and explicit and important. And other people, everyone wants to help us, right? And everyone wants to help us so much that sometimes people fall over each other trying to help us. And that can lead to unintentional disorder that is not good for the body, not good for the office, not good for the community. And so I'm very hopeful that you will take some time to really study that code section and understand it, because you're the master of it if confirmed. And we need to make sure those roles are really clear.
Sure.
Yeah. Others? So I'll speak to my part then in the transition. I have really heavily relied on Barbara for now more than 2 years, really going on 3. And Barbara had all the years of experience. Jamie's not going to have all those years of experience in the same way. And so I think there's going to be some realignment of reliances, what the term might be, how business gets done. And so, because I think we have to protect the clerk's ability to really dig into the clerk job and make it her own. And so what that is going to mean, I think, practically speaking, is we're going to lean more heavily on our attorneys, our legislative staff to do things that aren't spelled out in the code for the clerk, and give the clerk room to master the office, master the supervision processes and recruitments and all of the things necessary. And the first task of which, of course, is to find a suitable replacement in the elections office, because practically speaking, that is one of our most important duties. And so I will be hoping to provide a buffer between excess demands to the clerk's office on things that might be otherwise found a good home somewhere else, at least in the short term, until the clerk tells me, hey, get out of my way. And so, and I look forward to that day. And so that is just a philosophical approach, very protective of those no meeting Fridays that are once a month, so that they can get their work done and get things sorted and prepared for the rest of the month. Going to be very protective of making sure we aren't stacking as much as possible, 8 meetings in a day or something. So we're going from 9 in the morning until 5 at night on the way to a meeting that might run till midnight or other things. And so I'm going to be asking for your support in protecting the clerk's office bandwidth while we get the team up to speed with new leadership. Anyone else want to ask questions? Appears that this could have been a half an hour meeting. So hearing and seeing no others, then we'll reconvene at 10:30 for a special meeting to take up the item of the confirmation. So for now, we're adjourned.
Thank you.